Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. Loneliness can be painful. Heartbreak shakes you to your very core. But what if I told you that every tear you've shed, every restless night, and every moment of isolation is not a curse, but a calling? You see, when you are set apart, when you are destined for something greater, the world does not always welcome you. People will misunderstand you, friends may drift away, love might slip through your fingers, and in those moments you will ask yourself, why me? But here's what most people don't tell you. Loneliness is not the end, it is just the beginning. The reality is that you are different, you were never meant to fit in, you were always meant to stand out. And that means walking a road most people are too afraid to take. So stay with me, because by the time this speech ends, you won't view your loneliness the same way. You won't see heartbreak as a punishment, but as a crucial part of your rise. A woman who is called to something greater will always find herself on a path that few can travel. Not because she is unworthy of love or companionship, not because she is incapable of being loved, but because her journey is one of purpose. And purpose often requires solitude. From a young age, she feels different. She views the world through a unique lens, thinks deeply, and longs for something more than what society tells her she should settle for. While others are satisfied with shallow conversations and surface-level relationships, she craves depth, meaning, and authenticity. This sets her apart, but it also isolates her. Many do not understand her. They see her strength and assume she does not need anyone. They see her independence and mistake it for arrogance. They see her resilience and believe she does not feel pain, but the truth is, she does. She feels everything deeply. The problem is, she does not just carry her own pain, she carries the pain of those around her. She loves with intensity. She gives without hesitation. And because of this, she often attracts people who take more than they give. She finds herself in relationships where she is expected to be the strong one, the healer, the problem solver. And for a time, she embraces this role, believing that if she loves enough, if she gives enough, if she proves her worth, someone will finally see her for who she truly is. But what she does not realize is that not everyone is capable of handling a woman like her. Not everyone can embrace her light. Some people come into her life not to stay, but to test her, to see how much she will endure, to take what they need, and to walk away when she has nothing left to offer. And when they leave, she questions herself. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? But the truth is, it was never about her not being enough. It was about them not being ready. A woman with a purpose cannot be with someone who is intimidated by her strength. She cannot shrink herself to fit into spaces never meant for her. And the moment she understands this, everything changes. She begins to realize that rejection is not a punishment. It is protection. Every heartbreak was a lesson. Every disappointment was a redirection. Every moment of loneliness was preparation. But that does not mean the journey becomes easier. The further she walks this path, the more she understands that not everyone is meant to walk beside her. Friends she once trusted begin to fade. Relationships she thought would last forever come to an end. And for a brief moment, she wonders if she will always be alone. This is the moment where most women give up. They settle for less than they deserve because the pain of loneliness seems unbearable. They return to the people who hurt them just to feel something familiar. They silence their voices, dim their light, and shrink into versions of themselves that others can accept. But the chosen woman, she endures. She does not settle. She does not chase. She does not beg for love that is not freely given. Instead, she uses this time to grow, to heal, to become the woman she was always meant to be. And in doing so, she attracts what is truly meant for her. Because the truth is, when a woman finally understands her worth, when she fully embraces her power, She no longer fears loneliness, she welcomes it. She understands that it is in those quiet moments, in solitude, that she becomes unstoppable. And one day, when she least expects it, she will look around and realize she is no longer walking alone. The right people, the ones who see her, value her, and respect her, will have found their way into her life, not because she chased them, but because she stood firm in who she was, and they recognized her worth, without her having to prove it. So if you are walking this path and you feel alone, if you wonder why love has been so painful, if you question whether you will ever find your place, remember this: you are not lost, you are not forgotten, you are simply being prepared. And when your time comes, you won't just walk in love, you will walk in purpose. A woman with depth, with wisdom, with a strong sense of self will always be a mystery to those who live on the surface. She walks into a room and without even speaking a word, people feel something. Her presence carries a weight, an energy that cannot be ignored. Some admire it, and some are drawn to it, but many are intimidated by it. It is not because she is unkind or unapproachable. It is because she represents something rare. A woman who knows who she is, who refuses to be shaped by society, who will not shrink herself just to make others comfortable. This kind of woman unsettles people. She forces them to confront their own insecurities. She does not beg for attention. She does not seek validation. She does not lower her standards just to fit in. And because of that, she will always be too much for those who have not done the inner work to meet her at her level. This is where the heartbreak happens. She meets people who are fascinated by her strength, who admire her confidence, who are drawn to her mind. They see something in her that they do not see in themselves. And at first, it feels like love. They tell her she is different. They tell her she is special. They make promises. But what she does not realize is that admiration is not the same as readiness. Some people love the idea of a strong woman, but they are not prepared to stand beside one. They see her independence and assume she does not need nurturing. They think that because she carries herself with confidence, she does not feel pain. They believe that because she is strong, she does not need softness, care, or protection. And what happens? They begin to pull away. Not because she has done anything wrong, but because they cannot keep up. They realize that being with a woman like her requires growth, effort, and accountability. And some people are simply not ready for that. They wanted her light, but they did not expect the fire that came with it. And so she is left wondering, why does love keep slipping through my fingers? Why do people leave when I give them my best? But the truth is, it was never about her not being enough. It was about them not being ready to receive what she had to offer. This is where many women struggle. She looks around and sees others who do not love as deeply, who do not think as intensely, who do not demand as much, and yet they seem to find companionship easily. She wonders if she should change, if she should soften herself, if she should silence parts of who she is just to be accepted. But the moment a woman starts to dim her own light just to make someone else comfortable, she begins to lose herself. She was not made to blend in. She was not made to lower her standards. She was not made to be easier to love. She was meant to stand out. And standing out means that not everyone will understand her. The harsh reality is this: the brighter she shines, the more she will draw in two types of people: those who are inspired by her and those who feel threatened by her. The ones who feel inspired will uplift her, motivate her, and match her energy. But the ones who feel threatened will try to dim her light. Not because they despise her, but because they fear what she represents. Growth, resilience, and selfishness. And not everyone is ready to embrace that. So what does she do? She stops running after people who cannot handle her. She quits explaining herself to those who refuse to listen. She no longer apologizes for being too much, because the right people, the ones who truly belong in her life, will never ask her to be less. They will not fear her strength, nor will they walk away when challenges arise. They will recognize her for who she is and meet her at her level without expecting her to shrink herself to make it easier for them. Until then, she walks alone if necessary, not because she wants to, but because she refuses to settle for anything less than the love, the friendships, and the respect she genuinely deserves. There is a certain kind of pain that comes with being a woman who gives her all, yet feels as if she receives very little in return. She loves deeply, she cares sincerely, and she stands by people even when they have not earned it. She is the kind of woman who listens when no one else does, who fights for others when they cannot fight for themselves, who pours into others even when her own cup is empty, and yet time after time she finds herself feeling unappreciated, misunderstood, and alone. She asks herself, why do I keep offering my heart to people who do not value it? Why do I keep showing up for people who would not do the same for me? Why does it seem like the more I love, the more I lose? The answer is both simple and painful. Some people take advantage of kind hearts because they assume they will always be there. They mistake kindness for weakness, patience for something to exploit, and unconditional love as permission to do as they please without facing consequences. She is the woman who always forgives, the one who sees the best in people even when they show her their worst, the one who justifies the actions of those who mistreat her because she understands their pain, their struggles, and their past. And for a time, she convinces herself that if she just loves them more, if she just gives more, if she just proves she is different, then maybe, just maybe, they will finally see her worth. But that moment never arrives. Instead, what she finds is heartbreak over and over. She gives chances to those who do not deserve them. She tolerates behaviors she knows are wrong. She silences her intuition when it tells her to walk away. And she does all of this because she believes in love, because she believes in people, because she does not want to be someone who gives up on those she cares about. But at what cost? At what point does she realize that love should not demand her to destroy herself? At what moment does she understand that giving everything to people who only take will never bring her happiness? The hardest lesson a woman like her must learn is that not everyone is worthy of access to her heart. Some people enter her life not to love her, but to teach her, to show her what she should never accept, to push her to create boundaries, to force her to finally choose herself after years of choosing everyone else. And when that realization finally settles in, everything changes. She stops making excuses for people who hurt her. She stops believing that love means tolerating endless pain. She stops thinking that walking away is a sign of weakness, because the truth is, real love does not demand that she suffer. Real love does not make her beg. Real love does not leave her feeling drained. So she begins to move differently. She no longer tries to convince people to see her worth. She no longer entertains those who only show up when they need something. She no longer feels guilty for choosing herself. And in doing so, she finds something she never expected: peace. The moment she stops offering her heart to those who do not cherish it, she creates room for those who will. She begins to attract the kind of love that does not exhaust her but replenishes her, the kind of friendships that do not feel one-sided, the kind of relationships that feel mutual, balanced, and true. And the most powerful realization of all, she learns that she does not need to be loved by everyone to be worthy. She does not need a crowd around her to feel valuable. She does not need outside validation to know she is enough, because she has always been enough. She just had to stop giving her love away to those who could not recognize it. So if she finds herself alone, if she finds herself walking away from people she once thought would be in her life forever, she does not mourn the loss. She celebrates the lesson. She understands now that her heart is a gift, Her love is not free for those who do not respect it. And the next time she chooses to give it, it will be to someone who knows exactly what it is worth. There comes a time in every strong woman's life when she realizes that she walks a path many will not understand. She sees the world differently, feels deeply, and carries a wisdom that some may never reach. And because of that, she often finds herself walking alone. It is not that she does not desire love, companionship, or friendship. She does. But the issue is she refuses to settle for anything less than what she knows she deserves. She has witnessed what happens when she lowers her standards. She has felt the pain of investing her time, energy, and love into people who do not appreciate it. She has spent years bending, adjusting, and making herself smaller just to fit into relationships and friendships that were never meant for her in the first place. But now, she is done with that. She would rather be alone than be surrounded by people who do not truly see her. She would rather walk in silence than force herself into spaces where she does not belong. She would rather protect her peace than chase after those who are unwilling to meet her at her level. And because of that, she will experience loneliness. There will be moments when she questions if she made the right choice, moments when she looks around and sees people who seem happy in relationships and friendships that she knows she could have been part of if only she had settled. But then she remembers what it cost her every time she settled in the past. She remembers the exhaustion of constantly explaining herself, the frustration of always being the one to put in the effort, the heartbreak of realizing that the people she gave so much to would never do the same in return. And she understands that this loneliness is not a punishment, it is a test of her patience, her faith, and her belief in herself. It is in this season of solitude that she discovers who she truly is. She learns that she is strong not because she has people to lean on, but because she has built a foundation within herself that cannot be shaken. She learns that her happiness does not come from being surrounded by others, but from finding peace within her own soul. She learns that real love, whether in friendships, relationships, or connections, does not require her to chase, beg, or persuade. And in time, she realizes that she was never truly alone. Because in choosing herself, in prioritizing her peace, she has created space for the right people to enter her life. People who will not be intimidated by her strength. People who will not ask her to shrink. People who will love her not because of what she can do for them, but simply for who she is. But until they arrive, she walks alone, with confidence. She does not rush the process. She does not force connections that do not align. She does not fear the silence, because she knows that real love, real friendships, and real connections are worth the wait. And most importantly, she knows she is already whole, whether she walks this path alone or with others beside her. She will not always be understood, she will not always be accepted, and at times she will even face rejection, not because there is something wrong with her, but because the people around her are not ready for what she brings. She is the kind of woman who speaks with purpose, who moves with intention, and who refuses to lower her standards just to fit into spaces that were never meant for her. She does not follow the crowd. She does not choose the easy path just to gain approval. She does not change herself just to make others comfortable. Because of that, she will experience isolation. She will step into rooms where her presence feels too strong and people will distance themselves. She will voice her thoughts with confidence, and some will label her as difficult. She will set boundaries, and those who once took her for granted will call her selfish. What they fail to understand is that she is not being difficult. She is simply refusing to be disrespected. She is not being selfish. She is making a choice to protect her peace. She is not pushing people away. She is allowing only those who truly value her to stay. It is a lonely road, but it is a necessary one. Some people are only meant to walk from a distance. Some are meant to misunderstand her so that she learns her worth is not defined by their opinions. Some are meant to leave so she can make space for those who truly belong. She has learned that trying to fit into places where she does not belong only drains her. She has realized that being surrounded by people who do not truly see her is far lonelier than being on her own. She understands that staying true to herself, even if it means standing alone, is far more rewarding than living a life of pretense. So she stops chasing approval. She stops explaining herself to those who have already made up their minds not to understand. She stops forcing relationships that require her to sacrifice her dignity. Instead, she embraces solitude. She uses it to grow, to reflect, to heal. She lets go of the fear that being alone means she is unworthy. She starts to see loneliness not as a punishment, but as an opportunity to deepen her connection with herself, to strengthen her mind, to build a foundation so solid that no rejection, no misunderstanding, and no loss can shake her. She understands that the right people, the ones who will cherish her, respect her, and walk beside her without asking her to shrink, will come. And when they do, they will not just see her. They will truly understand her. They will value her. They will match her energy instead of draining it. And until then, she continues walking her path with her head held high, not afraid, not bitter, just focused, just ready. She has a heart that loves deeply, a mind that sees beyond the surface, and a soul that carries a purpose far greater than herself. Because of that, she cannot settle. She cannot pretend. She cannot accept less than what she knows she is worth. But that journey is not easy. There will be days when she questions why she must walk this path alone. Nights when the silence feels heavier than usual. Moments when she wonders if she is asking for too much. If maybe, just maybe, she should lower her standards, quiet her voice, and accept whatever love or companionship comes her way. But then she remembers the pain of settling. She recalls what it felt like to pour herself into people who only took from her, to explain herself repeatedly to those who never truly listened, to fight for relationships that left her feeling more alone than if she had simply walked away. She knows now that real love, real friendships, and real connections cannot be forced. They cannot be begged for. They cannot be built on a foundation of one-sided compromise. And so she waits, not in desperation, not in bitterness, but in confidence. She waits because she understands that by refusing to settle, she creates space for the right people to enter her life. The ones who will not need her to shrink, the ones who will not demand that she prove her worth, the ones who will see her, respect her, and meet her where she is. While she waits, she builds, she shapes herself into the kind of woman who no longer sees loneliness as an enemy, but as a teacher. She uses this time to grow, to heal, to strengthen her mind, her spirit, and her purpose.